Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful for You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The air in Deacon Sharp's modest apartment is thick with the lingering scent of yesterday's coffee and stale regret. Sunlight, filtered through a window that could use a good cleaning, cuts a diagonal slash across the worn carpet, illuminating dust motes dancing in the tense silence. Deacon Sharp, a man whose life has been a roller coaster of bad decisions and hard-won redemption, is humming to himself, polishing a whiskey glass with a clean towel. He's trying. He's always trying. For his daughter, Hope. For his granddaughter, Beth. And now, for the young man standing awkwardly by the door, Deacon Sharp. Deke is a storm contained in a leather jacket. His posture is rigid, his hands shoved deep into his pockets, knuckles likely white. He's been staring at the same faded spot on the wall for 5 minutes, gathering a courage he didn't know he needed. The secret he carries is no longer a quiet, gnawing thing in the pit of his stomach, it has grown teeth and claws, tearing him up from the inside. Deacon. Without looking up. You gonna stand there giving my floorboards the evil eye all day, or you wanna actually come in? I got some of that root beer you like. Not that fancy imported stuff, but it's cold. Deke. His voice is tight. I'm good. Deacon finally looks up, his sharp eyes missing nothing. He places the glass down with a soft clink. The cheer in his voice is a fragile facade, a performance he puts on for the people he loves, terrified of driving them away again. Deacon. Suit yourself. You know, your Grandma Sheila, she sent a postcard. From God knows where. Picture of a beach. Looks peaceful. She asked about you. The mention of Sheila Carter, the grandmother who is a nexus of chaos and violence in their lives, makes Deke flinch. It's the final push. Deke. We need to talk. Deacon. Sighs, wiping his hands on the towel. All right, kid. Lay it on me. You in some kind of trouble? Because whatever it is, we can handle it. You and me. That's what family does. The word family hangs in the air, heavy and poisoned. Deke takes a step forward, out of the shadows and into the slash of sunlight. He looks older than his years, the weight of his discovery carved into his face. Deke. Family. You keep saying that word. You've always said that word. Even when no one else would give you the time of day, you were always Deacon Sharp, my father. Deacon. Chuckling, but there's a flicker of unease. Well, that's 'cause I am your father. Last I checked, that's not a title you can just hand back. Deke. Isn't it? The room goes still. The hum of the refrigerator in the tiny kitchenette suddenly seems deafening. Deacon's easy smile falters, replaced by a wary confusion. Deacon. What's that supposed to mean? Look, if this is about me missing your school thing when you were 10, I told you, I was in a... Deke. Cutting him off, voice low and intense. This isn't about you being a crappy dad sometimes. This is about you, not being my dad at all. Deacon freezes. He actually, physically freezes, the towel still in his hands. He blinks, as if trying to clear a sudden fog from his brain. A nervous laugh escapes him, but it's brittle, hollow. Deacon. Okay, now you're just talking crazy. Where's this coming from? Did somebody say something to you? Was it Ridge? That guy's always looked at me like I'm something he scraped off his Italian loafer. Deke. It's not coming from anyone. It's coming from me. From something I found. Deke pulls a small, crumpled piece of paper from his jacket pocket. It's not a formal document, it's a faded, thermal-printed receipt from a cheap motel, dated over 2 decades ago, with a scrawled note on the back. He doesn't hand it over, he just holds it, a tiny, damning flag. Deke. After Grandma Sheila, after everything that happened, I was going through some of her old things. The stuff she left in that storage locker no one knew about. I found a box. It had pictures of you too, from way back. And this? Deacon's eyes are locked on the paper. His face has lost its color. The confident, street-smart demeanor he's cultivated for decades is beginning to crack, revealing the terrified man beneath. Deacon. Sheila, she was sick, Deke. You know that better than anyone. She was a manipulative, dangerous woman who would say or do anything to control people. Whatever she wrote, it's a lie. It's poison. Deke. Is it? It's a note to you, Deacon. From back when you two were, whatever you were. It says, and I've memorized every word, he's not yours. I lied. I needed you then, but you should know the truth. His father is gone. The silence that follows is absolute. It's a vacuum, sucking all the sound and air out of the room. Deacon sways slightly on his feet. He reaches out, bracing himself against the back of a worn armchair. His knuckles are white. Deacon. Voice a raw whisper. No. No, that's not. She never. Deke. So, it's true? You knew? Deacon. Shaking his head, but it's a gesture of denial, not answer. I didn't. I didn't know for sure. It was a rumor. A nasty piece of gossip that went around when your mother was pregnant. A guy she'd been with before me, but she swore to me, she looked me in the eye and swore you were mine. And when you were born. God, Deke, you were this perfect little thing. And you were mine. In every way that mattered. Deke's composure finally shatters. The anger and betrayal he's been holding back for weeks comes flooding out. Deke. In every way that mattered? What does that even mean? All my life. All my life, I've been Deacon Sharp's son. The kid with the ex-con, screw-up father. I wore that. I defended you. When kids at school made jokes, when Hope's family looked at you with such disdain, I stood there and I said, he's my dad. He's trying. And it was all a lie? Deacon. It wasn't a lie. Biology doesn't make a family, Deke. I changed your diapers. I taught you how to throw a baseball. I stayed up with you when you had nightmares. I was there. Not some phantom, not some sperm donor who took off. I was there. Deke. You were there under false pretenses. You let me believe a fantasy. Did you ever think, for 1 second, to get a test? To know for sure? Deacon. His own anger rising, born of panic and heartbreak. Why would I? I didn't want to know. I had a son. For a man like me, a man who'd burned every bridge he'd ever crossed, having a son, it was a miracle. It was the one pure, good thing I had ever done. You were my second chance. You are my second chance. Deke. So, I was just a prop for your redemption story? Was that it? You needed a kid to make you look like a decent human being? Deacon recoils as if slapped. The pain on his face is naked and profound. Deacon. How can you say that? You know that's not true. I love you. I have loved you from the second I held you in my arms in that hospital. That love is real. It is the most real thing I have ever felt in my entire godforsaken life. Deke. Tears now streaming down his face, unchecked. But I'm not. I'm not real. My whole identity is a lie. My name is a lie. Who am I, Deacon? If you're not my father, then who the hell am I? And who is my real father? Some gone guy Sheila mentioned? A criminal? Another one of her victims? What did I inherit from him, huh? What's lurking inside me that I don't even know about? This strikes a chord deeper than any other. Deacon sees it now. The real terror isn't just the betrayal, it's the existential crisis. It's the fear of the unknown, the terror of Sheila's legacy, the question of nature versus nurture that has suddenly become the central horror of Deke's life. Deacon. His voice drops, becoming quiet, desperate. You are Deke Sharp. You are kind, and you're smarter than I ever was. You have your mother's heart and my stubbornness. You're the kid who stood up for the underdog in the schoolyard. You're the young man who loves his little cousin Beth more than anything. You are the person I am so proud to call my son. That didn't come from blood, Deke. That came from you. That came from us. Deke shakes his head, backing away towards the door. The crumpled note falls from his hand and flutters to the floor, a pathetic, insignificant thing that has just detonated 2 lives. Deke. There is no us. Not anymore. There's just you, and the lie you helped perpetuate. All those years, you were living a lie, and you made me live it with you. Deacon. Please, kid, don't do this. Don't throw away what we have over a piece of paper from a madwoman. Deke. His hand on the doorknob, he looks back, his eyes hollow. I need to know who I am. And I can't find that here. With you. He yanks the door open. Deacon. Deke, wait. Deke. He stops but doesn't turn around. Goodbye, Deacon. The door closes with a soft, final click. It's not a slam. It's worse. It's deliberate, calm, and utterly devastating. Deacon is left alone in the silent apartment. The sunlight now seems harsh, exposing every flaw, every speck of dust. He stares at the closed door for a long, long time. Then, his legs give way, and he sinks to his knees on the worn carpet. His shoulders slump, and a single, ragged sob escapes him. He reaches out a trembling hand and picks up the crumpled motel receipt. He doesn't smooth it out. He just holds it in his fist, crushing it, as if he could erase its existence through sheer force of will. He looks around the room, at the pictures on the wall, a smiling Deke at various ages, always with Deacon beside him, a proud arm around his shoulder. The memories that once filled this space with warmth now feel like accusations. The love he proclaimed so fiercely now feels like a crime. He is alone. Truly alone. And the weight of a secret, now confessed, is infinitely heavier than the weight of keeping it. Scene end. The aftermath, beyond the apartment door. Int. Il giorno, night. The restaurant is all soft lighting and murmured conversations, a world away from the shattering scene at Deacon's. Hope Logan is smiling, listening to her husband, Thomas Forrester, talk about a new design line. There's a sense of hard-won peace at their table. This peace is shattered when a visibly distraught Deke stumbles in, his eyes red-rimmed and wild. Hope. Deke? My God, what's wrong? Is it Dad? Is he okay? Deke. A bitter, broken laugh. Is he okay? That's the question, isn't it? No, Hope. He's not my dad. The words hang in the air. Thomas immediately goes into protector mode, his body tensing. Hope stares, uncomprehending. Hope. What are you talking about? Of course he is. You're not making any sense. Deke. Slumping into a chair. Sheila. She left a note. A receipt from some motel. She told him, years ago. He's not yours. Deacon knew. He knew there was a chance and he never said a word. He let me call him Dad my whole life. Hope's face cycles through confusion, denial, and a dawning, horrific understanding. Her relationship with Deacon is built on his reformation, on him being a loving grandfather to Beth and, finally, a stable father to her. This news doesn't just affect Deke, it reframes her entire history. Hope. Whispering. He knew? All this time. He looked me in the eye and talked about family, about blood, and he knew? Thomas. Placing a hand on Hope's arm. Hope, we don't know the whole story. Deacon loves Deke. That part has never been an act. Deke. To Hope. See? You get it. You see the lie. My whole life has been a performance for him. I was just a prop in the redemption of Deacon Sharp. Hope looks at her brother's shattered face, and her own heart breaks in two different directions, for him, and for the terrifying idea that the father she's finally embraced is, at his core, still a consummate liar. Int. Deacon's apartment later that night. The bottle of whiskey is on the table, unopened. This is significant. The old Deacon would have been halfway through it by now. Instead, he sits in the dark, staring at the motel receipt he's now smoothed out on the coffee table. The door opens without a knock. It's Hope. She doesn't turn on the light. Hope. Is it true? Deacon doesn't need to ask what she means. He just nods, his eyes never leaving the note. Deacon. Sheila, she said a lot of things. She lied as easily as she breathed. When your mother was pregnant with Deke, there was talk. But she swore to me. She looked me in the eye and swore you were both mine. And when Deke was born. Hope, he was so small. He fit right here, in the crook of my arm. He was mine. Hope. But you had this. She points a trembling finger at the note. You had doubt. And you never, ever tried to find out the truth? For him? For you? Deacon. Voice cracking. Because I was terrified. What if it was true? What if the one good, pure thing I'd ever done, being a father to that boy, was taken from me? I was a selfish, cowardly man. I know that. But my love for him? That was never a lie. That is the one true thing I have ever done in my life. Hope sinks into the chair opposite him, tears in her eyes. She sees his agony, and it's real. She understands the fear that drove him. But she also can't unsee Deke's devastation. Hope. He feels like his entire existence is a fraud. He's questioning everything, Dad. And he called you Deacon. The use of Dad is deliberate, a lifeline she's throwing him, but it's also a reminder of what he stands to lose. Deacon looks up at her, his eyes begging. Deacon. What do I do, Hope? How do I fix this? Hope. You can't. Not right now. You have to let him be angry. You have to let him hate you for a while. Because the man he really hates right now is himself. The new dynamics, a family at war with its own history. 1. The Logan Sister Summit. Brooke, Katie, and Donna will inevitably gather over wine at the Forrester mansion. Brooke, with her history of complicated relationships, will urge caution and compassion. The heart wants what it wants, and Deacon's heart wanted that boy to be his. It's tragic, not malicious. Katie, the pragmatist and a mother herself, will be furious. He robbed that boy of his truth. It's the ultimate betrayal. Hope needs to keep Beth away from that instability. Donna, the empath, will see the pain on all sides. But look at the pain he's in. The poor man. And poor Deke. My God, what a mess. This triangulation will influence Hope, pulling her in different directions and adding to her inner conflict. 2. Ridge Forrester's I Told You So. Ridge will have a field day. For years, he's been the lone voice in the wilderness, insisting Deacon was a snake. He will see this as ultimate vindication. Ridge to Brooke, Logan, how many times did I say it? How many? The guy is a con man. It's in his DNA. He even conned himself into a family. You can't trust him. He's poison, and now that boy is paying the price. This will create marital tension between Ridge and Brooke, as she defends the humanity of a man Ridge despises. 3. Steffi's cynicism and Liam's idealism. Steffi will be blunt and protective. Hope, I'm sorry, but this is exactly why I never trusted him. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Sheila's son, biological or not, is drama we don't need around here or around our children. Liam, ever the idealist, will try to find the silver lining. People are more than their biology. Deacon raised him. He's his father in every way that counts. Deke just needs time to see that. This creates a fascinating debate. Is family defined by blood or by choice? The show can explore this theme through multiple lenses. The future storylines, the search for self. 1. The quest for the biological father. Deke, armed with only the alias Sheila scrawled on the note, his father is gone. Call him Jay, will begin a desperate search. This opens the door for a major new character introduction. Possibility A. Jay is John Jack Hamilton. A charming, successful businessman from the East Coast with a dark secret. He had a volatile, passionate fling with Sheila decades ago and has been hiding from her ever since. He could be a legitimate, powerful figure, terrified of his past catching up to him. Possibility B. Jay is a ghost from Sheila's criminal past. Perhaps Jay is in witness protection, or worse, in prison for a crime he and Sheila committed together. Deke's search could inadvertently put both himself and his new biological family in danger, forcing a reluctant alliance with Deacon to protect him. The twist: what if Jay is someone we already know? A minor character from the show's deep history, resurrected with a shocking new connection. The revelation would send shockwaves through the entire canvas. 2. Deacon's descent and the specter of Sheila. With his world in tatters, a vulnerable and heartbroken Deacon is prime prey. News of this chaos would be like a siren's call to Sheila Carter. Sheila could re-emerge from the shadows, not as a monster, but as a sympathetic figure. Deacon, she might whisper over the phone, I heard what happened. I'm so sorry. I never meant for you to get hurt. We're the only two people who understand each other. We're the only ones who truly love that boy. This could lead to a terrifying alliance, with Deacon, in his grief, being manipulated back into Sheila's orbit, jeopardizing everything with Hope and the Foresters. 3. A new rivalry, Deke versus Deacon. As Deke gets to know his biological father, Jay, he might find in him the stability and honesty he feels Deacon lacked. We could see scenes of Deke and Jay bonding at business meetings or on the golf course, a deliberate contrast to his messy, emotional history with Deacon. Deacon, watching from the outside, would be consumed by a jealousy more profound than any he's ever felt. This isn't about a woman, it's about his son. He might try to expose Jay as a fraud, only to discover that Jay is, in fact, a decent man, making Deacon's own failings look even worse. 4. The ultimate choice.